this is Winnie with Next Level Board Games, and today I'm very excited to say we're going to unbox the Lost Ruins of Arnak Expedition Leaders expansion, which is designed by Min and Elwin and published by CGE Games. So this, first of all, I don't know if you heard that clunk when I lifted it up, is a pretty good size, hefty expansion from what I've read. I haven't actually seen what's inside yet, so let's find out what's inside. First, let's tear off the plastic. And this is obviously, I forgot to mention, this is an expansion, and it is an expansion to the original. And same designers and same publishers, so I'm excited about that because that always means that, or usually always, means that it's going to be a seamless integration and that the designs go hand in hand, and usually you can't tell like what was the original parts and what's the expansion pieces, which makes the game so much more fun to play when they have consistency across the designers. So this is the front of the box without the plastic. Let's see what's inside. Let's see, let's start here first. So first here is a little bit of instructions for the expansion, as I think what this expansion does, and there's several pages, but this is kind of a smaller book. And if you've played this game, you know the original one has the full size, and there's quite a few pages, but there's as you can see here, lots of pictures. So it isn't that there is tons of itty bitty tiny writing and it's going to take forever to learn. It's a lot of images and how to play, which is really cool. So I don't think it's going to be that hard. Here is a big meeple one. So here's the captain. He's gray. He's decent sized. So there's that guy. Then we've got cards. Here's an advertisement. I'm going to skip past some of this stuff. So looks like here's some player sheets. And they are color-coded, mostly. Yeah, oh, okay, here's why. Okay, so because, oh, there's the captain. So here's the captain with the meeple. So there we go. Okay, so one of the things about this game is in the original game, everybody has a card like this and it describes all the actions and things you can do. And they're all the same because everyone starts with the same cards and has the same number of meeples, and it's a very symmetrical game. This version introduces some special new characters with special abilities and makes it slightly asymmetrical. Hence the meeple that I didn't realize was going to be in here because the captain has apparently an additional meeple, an additional archaeologist. So then over here, like here's one that says use only one archaeologist. So there's going to be very different strategies employed with using these different characters this time. Like I said, this one's got 3 and this one's got 1 less. But there's lots of things, if you've played this game, lots of things you can do even without playing your archaeologist. So keep that in mind. So there's those little overviews. Then we've got the unique player boards. Oh, coming apart. Let's see here. For the different, for the people. So these are your new player boards. Okay. Wow. So they open up for each of the characters. How cool. So these are going to be, as you can see, completely unique. They're even different sizes. How interesting. So just to give you a little bit of an idea of how different they are. Very different. Okay. So there's 2 of them. And then new tints. Oh, these are really, let's see. Hang on a second. Probably be easier if I do one at a time. Yellow and the red and then green and blue. So we never really had like tint tokens before. So I'm not really sure what the tint tokens are for exactly. But probably something to do with the fact that our characters are asymmetrical now. So we'll figure those out later. Some more tokens. Here's an eagle tile for the falconer. So these I think are going to all be related to the character, the individual character you are playing, based on these what you pick. So let's see here. What else is there? So this is going to be a new research track, and if you've played the original game, the research track is actually built into the original board, which is also double-sided. And so I think this is probably going to sit right on top. Makes sense. Again, double-sided, which is really cool. And you'll notice that these are going to be unique on both sides. It's unique, just like the original. So the way this works is each character starts way down, like on the bottom, basically. And they have a notebook and which is represented by these symbols here, a notebook and a magnifying glass. And they can move these up this path, and then each time they get one of those onto a spot, whatever's over here is a corresponding bonus that they get. And the one thing that's important, though, is your book can never pass your magnifying glass. So they can be on the same level, but the book can't, your notebook can actually pass the hourglass. So you have to pay a lot of attention. Moving up the research track gets you lots of bonuses, and it's totally worth it. but you have to be paying attention, and you have to calculate like ahead of time how you're going to do your moves and how you're going to make get all the items you need to be able to move forward, because it takes a decent amount. So this is the other side of that. Really cool like imagery on the top. It really matches the original game. I like a lot of this definitely matches the first game. Really cool. Just super cool. So it's really hard to get all the way up here, but it can be done. So there's a new double-sided research track. That's very exciting. And then we have new enemies to fight. Let's see here. So here's some new research assistants. I'm excited about that because it really can change your game. So they, if you've played, you know, the research assistants have two sides. The first side tells you get one benefit and tells you what's on the back. And then when you get to the back, you get what's on the back, basically, when you upgrade your assistants. And that happens by going along the research track we were just talking about. So here's where you get to turn one of your research assistants into the gold side. And then once you get to the second one, you can turn your second one onto their gold side. So you can only do that one at a time. So it does take some work, but then these are later what can help you get lots of things accomplished without having a bunch of your archaeologists. So that's that. These are going to be tokens that go along with the new asymmetrical characters. So these are the different character tokens. I know some of those are upside down, but you get the idea. There's those. Another research assistant that's new. That's kind of cool. So this would be getting looks like you get a fear card, but you'd also get a jewel every time. Wow, that's super helpful. Those can be hard to get. New token. So this is like the staff that goes on the board that goes between the different types of cards, the artifact cards and the item cards at the top in between the rounds. So it's different. I don't know why, but it's a variant. So the book says it's a red moon staff is a variant. Oh, cool. So another thing that increases replayability. That's very cool. What else? Oh, here's more of these. These are level sites. I think I said that wrong. These are the level sites, not the bad guys. The bad guys are going to be down in here. I had some of those already. Where did they go? I don't know. Here's some of the guardians, and the guardians are easier to tell apart because they have almost like fangs on them. So these are the baddie bads you're going to have to fight, and these are the benefits you get. So, and you also get benefits when you beat the baddie bads. Oops. But if you don't beat a baddie bad on the turn that you expose him, you get a negative card. You get one of the fear cards, which, just like this symbol here. There's that. So there's a whole bunch more of those. Here's some of the site tokens that you can get when you first explore a site and you expose the guardian and also what's underneath, what you can get for free. Then these, you also get, some of these are flipped up when you land on them, and some of them are random, meaning they look like this. But either way, at the end of the game, they're worth 3 victory points. But you can also use them to, if you turn them in, you can gain some of these. So sometimes when you're trying to get something really big and you have no other way to get it, but you want to get it before, like, say, the next round, you can turn one of those in, grab whatever you need, use that to maybe go up the research track, get something else that might help you buy cards. There's all kinds of ways you can use that to get more out of the game. So those can be really helpful. You just have to remember that they're there. Sometimes you forget that you can use them, and then another player does it, and you're like, oh, why didn't I think of that? And then looks like these are going to be the other player cards, other player boards. Excuse me, not cards. So here's one. Again, these are all totally unique. And even also what's unique too, which is really cool, is the things you can do with the tokens I was just talking about, the idle tokens that you can turn in. These are slightly different. So it looks like they're the same up to here, but then this bottom one is different. And it looks like you can only do that if you've turned in this many. I could be wrong because I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to suspect that's what that means, is that if you're turning in here or here, you can use one of these options down here. So on this board, you would get a compass, a gold, and you would have a boot move action. And on this one, you would have the flying action there. And then I'm not sure, that's something different. I think that's actually something new, but you'd also get a compass plus whatever that new thing is. Let's see. So we got a few more of these. Oh, that one looks cool. Just like somebody who a research person or something. What is this one? Professor. There you go, it's close. Professor. So this one here is the falconer. Okay, that makes sense. And this one's going to get the eagle tile that we saw earlier. Okay, that makes sense. And then last but not least, this is a lot of stuff for an expansion, I gotta say. We have, who is this? The Baroness. Okay. And last but not least, the captain. Okay, here's the captain. So he's the one that gets the extra meeple that I have somehow buried somewhere. Where did I put the extra meeple? There it is. This is a lot for an expansion. So here's the extra meeple that the extra archaeologist, sorry, that the captain gets. So that could be super helpful too, because he's going to be able to go out onto the board and explore more sites with these, because you have to have an archaeologist to be able to go to these unless you have some special card and stuff. So he's probably going to get more of this done. He's going to get more idols. He's going to get more VPs that way from those, as well as you can see when you defeat, when you defeat the guardians, those are worth 5 VPs. So, and they also have a single use bonus you can take advantage of at some point during the game, and then once you use it, you just flip it over. But still worth 5 VP even if you use it. So that's really cool. So I didn't notice this at first, but so these are the lower site tiles that take less travel cards to get to. They look like this. Some of them are bad sometimes. Like this one has, this is good too. You get to draw a new card and you get a gem, but also you have to take a fear card. But there's ways to get rid of those. But like this one's all pluses, right? You get 2 of the scrolls. Can't think of what that's called. And then you can upgrade either one of those for an arrowhead or an arrowhead for a gem. So those are kind of nice. So these are all, most of these are positives, and then there's some that have these fear cards but also with positive things too. But there's also a set of tiles that you can explore up on the top. So these are bigger site tiles. They take more compasses to be able to explore, and they also take more travel tokens. And again, they will still take an archaeologist to get there. So, but you can see that the benefits comparatively are bigger. So they cost more to get to, we get bigger benefits, but it's cool that they have some new ones of the smaller ones and also new ones of the bigger ones. So that's really cool. Plus new guardian tiles, which are, these are the tiles you have to try to kick their butt before you end the round, or you end up taking a fear card. But you gain benefits every time you do, plus VPs at the end, so those are really good. And then I almost forgot about the cards, which there's it's like a whole deck of cards here. So that's cool. Let's see what we got. It says we're gonna have 18 items and 12 artifacts. Oof, what a mess. Okay. So, here we go. So, these will be the artifact cards. You can tell the 12 artifact cards. So these are cards you can get. These ones always cost compasses. And at the beginning of the game, there's only one of these out. In each round, there's more of these and less of these. So at the beginning of the game, you start with, this seems like more than 18. These are, oh, hang on a sec. A bunch of these are, so these ones are actually all the player cards. So these are all the cards that are for each player. Like there's the captain there, and there's the Baroness. Okay, so these are going to be the starting cards for the new players that you get to play. And these are, you can tell, unique. Unlike the existing game, where everyone starts with the same exact starting, you have the same cards to start with, and it's slightly deck builder, so you get to add cards to your hand over time. These item cards are the item cards that are like here, and then you can, and then these ones can also be added to the artifacts, and sometimes they're a one-time thing, and sometimes they're you get to play them over and over. But these have totally different starting cards, so our hands are going to start completely different. We're not even going to know what other people have. That's kind of exciting because I love the surprise of that. So that's those. Those are the actual player cards. And then, last but not least, are the item cards. So the item cards and the artifact cards are always up at the top of the board. And the artifact cards are on the left. The items are on the right. And when you start, there's 5 slots. When you start, there's only 1 of these. There's 4 of these. And then each round, there becomes more of these and less of these. So it just, the token sort of slides across. So these ones you don't usually buy right away. It kind of takes a little bit of time to have compasses for this because you're using those to explore the different sites. But the item cards you often buy because they're only a coin or two or sometimes three, but they give you great benefits. And this is the sort of the deck builder piece of the game, where these come into your hand over time, and you get to use these to help do things like, you know, get an extra card. You can always tell the difference in the cards by both the background, one's blue and one's brown, but also the icon up in the corner. There's like a little artifact, and then there's a little shovel for the items. So that's everything that's in this expansion. It's a big expansion. I love expansions most of the time. Sometimes I'm kind of like, oh, it messed the gameplay up, or it made it more complex than it seemed like it needed to be, and then I'm disappointed. But recently I've got some expansions that I have loved, and a couple of those would be Fort, the Dogs and Cats expansion was great. What else? What else have we got in expansions too that were great? Oh, the Quacks of Quellenberg. Great expansions. The Alchemist was a fantastic expansion. So I'm a big fan of expansions in general, but this one I think brings a lot to the table because we have now asymmetrical characters. We have a new we have a new research track that is two-sided that we can overlay on top of the existing. That's exciting for me. We have new sites to visit with new benefits. Both the small and the large, the easier and the hard areas to get to, new guardians, new cards, because we have new characters that have unique abilities, plus their boards and their cards. I won't pull all this out, but also new items and new artifact cards that we're not going to know anything about. So I'm really excited to sit down and play this game and learn how the new characters work and see what our new player boards have in store for us, and just see what other players are playing too. I think it's going to be really exciting. I am super looking forward to it. I would say theme-wise, this matches the original game perfectly. So hopefully this will be as fun as I think it is. Thanks for watching Next Level Board Games.